Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to Notes on Getting Wealthy, Episode 2. I'm Dr. Tettey Doe. I'm based in the United Kingdom. And the reference will be the international bestseller, The Rules of Wealth by Richard Templar. In this presentation on getting wealthy, I'll be touching on 5 rules. Speculate to accumulate, and that is not gambling. Decide your attitude to risk. And the next is think through the alternatives to taking a risk. And if you don't trust someone, don't do business with them. And finally, it's never too late to start getting wealthy. So we start with Rule 25, speculate to accumulate. And this isn't gambling. You toil away your years for many years, and suddenly you are lucky. When people practice over several years, it takes a lot of effort. And when they are successful and people see their success, they may think that these are lucky people. It's not luck. It takes a lot of effort to have input into success. If you invest on the stock exchange, after wisely taking advice and studying the companies and their performance, this is the safest form of gambling. If you stake it all on this red bait, this is high-risk gambling. But if you work your socks off for 20 years and finally it pays off, this is not gambling. I know you might have thought, you to speculate with your hard-earned cash. I don't. I mean you to speculate with your time, with your efforts, your forethought and planning, energy and dedication. The more you put in, the more you will get out. So speculate to accumulate. Speculate has in fact 4 meanings: to discuss, to think deeply, to invest, and to believe in something not entirely certain. I think that about sums up our pathway to prosperity. To discuss, that's speculate, to talk to all and sundry about wealth and see what others think and do. Study them closely. Think deeply, understand your subjects. Invest. Speculate with your time and effort and life. And then finally, believe in something not entirely certain. There are no guarantees, but you should be able to shorten the odds considerably if you follow the rules others have forged for you. And I've realized this with having a mentor that has helped. So we move on to the next rule, which is rule number 26. It says, decide your attitude to risk. It's entirely up to you what level of risk you feel happy with. There are things to take into consideration, such as your age. We cope better with risk the younger we are. Family commitments are also important. If you are like me and you have young children, it does make you more conscious. If they are all left home, you might be prepared to push it a bit further. Also consider income or assets. You need to work out the percentage of your wealth you are prepared to risk. The more you've got, the smaller the risk might be, unless you are prepared to risk the lots, of course. So rule 26, decide on your attitude to risk. We go on. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And we'll talk more about this later. Consider how much stress and excitement you can handle. And look at the timing. Long-term risk against quick returns. Long-term gains against quick returns. Think about how much you can afford to risk. And think of the worst case scenario stuff. And judge how much information you have. Too little information increases risk. And life in itself is risky, and nothing is certain. How do you cope when things go wrong? Reflect on this. Are you positive, dynamic, enthusiastic, and up? Or do you get all gloomy and depressed and feel the glass is half empty? Know yourself and know how you cope and how you respond to changes. And remember that risk doesn't mean bad. It means you don't know how it will all turn out. So we move on to rule 27, which is think through the alternatives to taking a risk. Let me give an example. Suppose you are considering investing in a volatile market for a chance of high returns. If you don't make the investment, you could put the money in the building society where it ought to be safe. I did say ought to. So what kind of interest is the building society paying you? It could be, for example, 3%. Then again, it could be 0.5%. If it's fairly high, your high-risk investment may not be worth taking. Whereas, when interest rates are very low, it might be your best chance of a decent return. So think through the alternatives to taking a risk. And this concept is the overall reward you get for taking a risk, which is when measured against the alternative, is called risk premium. The overall reward you get for taking a risk when measured against the alternatives is called risk premium. It's a calculation particularly worth making when it comes to short-term investments, as over the long term, it can be harder to predict how the alternatives to the risk will perform. So think through the alternatives to taking a risk. You need to consider what your alternative is. What if you don't take this risk? For your reflection. Now we move to the next rule, 28. If you don't trust someone, don't do business with them. You can extend this rule to cover loads of situations, such as if you don't trust your boss, don't work for them. If you don't trust your childminder, don't leave your kids with them. If you don't feel comfortable with your financial advisor, get another. Look, you can choose what you do and how you do it, but if you want to be a rules player, then you need to be assertive. Stand up for what you know is right. Don't accept second best, ever. So if you don't trust someone, don't do business with them. Listen to your intuition. Be the biggest, boldest, and bravest. If the situation feels wrong, it probably is. If you don't get the right feelings about a person you are dealing with, find a way out. If it waddles like a duck and quacks like a duck, chances are it is a duck. Avoid. Walk away. Hold on to your wallet and run. And this leads us to the last rule in this presentation, rule number 29, which is it's never too late to start getting wealthy. It's never too late to start investing in shares, in a pension, in style, in quality, in yourself, in life. Look at rule number 1 again. Anyone can make money, and it is not limited by your age or any other time factor. All it requires is that you shift your focus to becoming wealthy, and already things will happen without you having to do anything more. So it's never too late to start getting wealthy. However, if you think it is too late, it probably is. The secret is never to think that. If you think that you can give up easily, then you probably will. Don't think it. Dump the preconceptions and trust me, it's never too late to begin. Start now. So, ladies and gentlemen, just to sum up this presentation, the points we discussed: getting wealthy involves speculate to accumulate, and this is not gambling. Decide your attitude to risk. Think through the alternatives to taking a risk. If you don't trust someone, don't do business with them. And it's never too late to start getting wealthy. Thank you for your attention. And I hope you've written and gathered something from this, which is very useful inspiration, and also to share it with your family and friends and other members in your team. And don't forget to press on the subscribe button so you receive future presentations of such inspirational presentations. And thank you, and God bless you, and make your business prosper and make you wealthy. Bye.